Okay, greetings and peace, everyone. Welcome to the C.R.S.A show, the Committed Relationship and Spiritual Activity YouTube channel. I should say it's not really a show, but it's a YouTube channel. My name is Neo, and I am a personal development consultant and relationship researcher. What I do is I study relationships in general. My primary relationships that I study are first and foremost parent-child relationships, friendships, and of course committed relationships, which for me, I consider all of those committed relationships because you have to be committed at some point in general within those relationships, if you really think about it. And I didn't really think about that until I started writing my Committed Relationships ebook, which that is on my website at CommittedRelationships.info. You can definitely check that out. That I only had that for $1.99, I believe, last time I checked. So you can check that out. It's titled Committed Relationships: The Starting Process to the Process. It's a brief information that anybody can read probably within a whole day if they really focus on it. And it's 10 chapters, short, and I kept it basic. I didn't want to go airy-fairy and complex in that book because I wanted everybody to be able to read it from start to finish and understand it. And so that's what I do, and I use this YouTube channel to provide my conclusions to what I have learned, and also information that I have learned, and also help provide personal development information. So this information comes from my research and my analysis, and also my own personal experiences of analyzing those experiences also. So let's go ahead and start talking about the human mind. The mind is all. That is what matters most of an individual. And that is one thing that schools, religion, and parents usually on average fail to mention: the importance of the mind, what it does, and the importance of protecting it. And that's because the majority of people, they do not fully understand what the mind is and how to utilize it. The Bible does mention a few things about the mind, but religions really don't get down to the nitty-gritty to teach people about the mind and how to utilize it, how to cultivate it. One thing that I've learned throughout my studies of the mind is that the mind has to be cultivated. From birth, a child does not know how to utilize their mind, and they're not even conscious of their mind. So when we come into this realm, this physical life of human life, we're completely vulnerable, and whoever and whatever we're surrounded by, we just accept those things and those beliefs automatically. That's why by the time you become a conscious adult, it is your duty to actually stop and analyze your current beliefs and to see if those beliefs work for you or against you. Because our beliefs, our deep beliefs, is what going to be conveyed in our everyday behavior. And that could be a positive thing, and it could be a negative thing. And that's why people have to, if people really want to be in relationships in general, they have to literally reflect on their relationship beliefs to see if they work for them in their relationships or against them. Because a lot of people have negative limiting beliefs that are sabotaging their relationships. And they say that they want a relationship, and a lot of people have been taught to go around making sure that their outer appearance looks good, and that they have money, they have a car, they have a job, yada, 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 and a good personality. But they really haven't been taught to get down to the nitty gritty of their psychological system, because the mind is a system that can have a variety of viruses in it if a person has not been taking very good care of their own mind, and if they have been associating themselves with people who have poor mental health also. So another thing that our society, especially here in America, teaches is personal hygiene and physical health, but it doesn't heavily teach the importance of mental health. So that's why you'll have gym rats, people who's always in the gym working out extremely hard, but if you really speak with them and you know what to look for, a lot of them have poor mental health and they're not really intelligent as they like to think that they are. And especially when it comes to spirituality, a lot of gym rats are so focused on their physical body that they're not even aware of spirituality, and they don't even know like the basics of spiritual information. Basics like the mind is all, and imagination and creativity, intuition and stuff like that. If you ask them questions about one or more of those things, they really wouldn't be able to give you really great details. So with that said, so our minds are responsible for our beliefs, and our beliefs are what is going to be conveyed within our behavior. And also our beliefs is what controls our perception of life in general, people, places, and things. So if you have a negative perception of men and or women, a lot of times that comes from our childhood, because we went through one or more experiences with our parents or caretakers that were of a specific gender, and that during our childhood puts an imprint on our mind, and that carries out throughout our adulthood if we don't address it, if we fail to address it. Let me give you an example. If a male goes through a very difficult childhood with his mother, and there's little to no positive experiences with his mother, and his mother had a bad experience with her father, and the male's father, they didn't have a great relationship, as far as his mother and his father didn't have a great relationship together, and he didn't see them together positively and being taught how a relationship is supposed to be, and he's just seen a bunch of chaos that did not and if he's seen just a bunch of chaos in the relationship, or he didn't see anything at all, then he's more than likely going to, unless he address his negative images and beliefs that he accepted from that childhood, then he's more than likely going to have a difficult time dealing with women, because he's going to perceive them as the way that he perceived his mother. But there are some cases where that's not the case. But also, if he does not add positive images to his mind and beliefs in some way, somehow, then he's more than likely going to have a negative view on women. And he might not consciously know it until he's actually in a deep situation with a woman, because that's how, and it goes vice versa with women and men. If a woman has not had a positive experience with her father during her childhood, then she's more than likely going to have a tough time with men. And that's what usually goes on throughout relationships. People fail to address their mental health issues and their mental health in general and actually improve it. So instead, what they'll say is that they have mental issues, and they'll keep sweeping those mental issues under the rug, thinking that everything's going to be hunky-dory in a relationship. So when they're in a deep situation with their mate, a lot of things go wrong, and then those mental issues, those unresolved mental issues, tend to sabotage the relationship, because there's a lot of things that go wrong that go against actually helping the situation. So instead of helping the situation, their mental issues will cause the individual to sabotage the situation. And another example is, a lot of people throughout their childhood has been through a lot of drama, and to the point where throughout their childhood and throughout their teenage years, they're so used to drama to the point that the individual does not know how to relax in a situation to where there's no problems at all, and where they can't deal with serenity. They can't deal with peace. So when everything is going smooth, that individual who is drama ridden, who has drama within their own psychological system, and that drama inside their system is actually a virus. It acts as a virus. So whenever they experience peace in a situation, everything is going well, their negative limiting beliefs is going to sabotage that peace, and they're going to do one or more things, whether it be say something that's really outrageous and really stupid that gets everybody riled up. And this situation where that one person said one ridiculous thing, you're like, where the hell did that come from? Why did he or she say that? It did not. There's nothing that warranted that at all. Or they might do something that is extremely ridiculous, and you're like, where did that come from? And that's the result of their childhood and their unresolved childhood issues. They have not understood what it is to be in peace and know how to exist within peace and go with the flow and just flow with it where everything is working correctly. And I know this firsthand, and I analyzed it as far as my own family members, and I know exactly which ones who are drama ridden. That's why I avoid allowing myself to be in certain situations with these individuals, because I know that they're going to sabotage the peace and the serenity within the situation. And me analyzing that situation, I see how that is with a lot of other people, and I know which ones are the drama one because it's their energy. Our beliefs within ourselves also radiate an energy from within us outwardly into our auric field. All of us have an auric field, aka an electromagnetic force field that goes around us, literally our whole body, front, back, up, down, our whole body. That auric field is responsible for attracting people, places, and things to us, and also repelling people, places, and things to from us. And it does a variety of different things. And as an individual, if you know how to read a person's auric field, you'll be able to get a variety of information that they have been withholding from you. And I have learned this throughout my years of understanding the mind, understanding psychic senses, aka astral senses, because we have more than our five senses, physical senses. And a lot of people try to act like they don't want to get involved with the extra senses, and society doesn't want people to tap into those senses, because once people tap into those senses, they will have extra information about any person, places, or thing and situations, making it more difficult to be able to convince that person of a lie. So when you have your psychic senses activated and you know how to perceive and you know what's going on, you'll know how to be able to perceive throughout the people's illusions. And people's negative limiting beliefs sometimes actually will repel certain people, places, and things and circumstances from them that they say that they want. Because a lot of people say that they want a relationship, but at the same time they say that they are a hopeless romantic. That's what the media puts out there, that term hopeless romantic, and then they show it on TV, and then some people actually take that image and they put it onto themselves, and then they walk around, oh, hopeless romantic. If a person continues to perpetuate that image, that belief, and that energy, then they actually are going to experience that within their life. I'm telling you, these beliefs are deep. These beliefs really do play an effect in our life, and they can work for us or against us. So walking around saying that you are a nervous wreck, a hopeless romantic, that literally is not going to help you at all if you are looking to have a relationship with anybody, but especially a committed relationship. And walking around like that is going to influence people to do negative things to you. So now, as far as the beliefs, Now let's go into talking about the media. Now, the media consistently portrays a lot of negative images, some decent images that does help people, but a lot of negative relationship images, and consistently talking about people cheating on other people, and in particular, men cheating on women. Oh my God, how many times have you seen movies, TV shows, and even music that consistently talk about men cheating on women? That is so ridiculous, and that literally puts a negative image in women's mind when it comes to men, and also a negative image in our mind as far as influencing us to cheat on women. If a male at all fails to address this within his own mind and put positive images and positive beliefs in his mind regarding a committed relationship with a woman, then those negative images of men cheating on women is going to more than likely be impressed on the man's mind within his life, and especially if he's going to experience these negative images and negative beliefs early, these negative images and negative images in general early in his life, his childhood, his teenage years, and especially here in America, that's usually what goes on. When he's a child, he sees it, whether it be from his father or his uncle. And me, I've seen a bunch of my family members doing that, male family members doing that, and doing a lot of negative things to their woman. And then the teenage years, he sees it all on TV. And his early 20s, if he fails to address this, then he's more than likely going to actually cheat, because that's all he sees over and over again, his behavior. Remember, I said, once something becomes a belief, it is conveyed in a individual's behavior. So him seeing that for years, cheating for years, he's going to do this. Let me give you a case, a personal experience in my high school experience. My high school experience. So one year, I think it was the 10th grade, I was dating one female, right? There was two females that was crazy about me, and one of them I liked more than the other. And the first one that I dealt with, let's say female one that I dealt with, I had my fun with her, and she said and or did something that I did not like. And at the time, I was way more immature than I am now, because now I reached an adequate level of maturity. But at the time, I was literally capable of cutting a female off if she even said or did the smallest thing. So somehow, some way, I didn't like that one. And then I let that one go. Well, at least I thought I let that one go. And so I went ahead and I made it known to the other one, or somehow flirted with the other one, making it perceivable that I like her, female too. So let's keep this in mind. These two females actually were friends. And I guess I really wasn't conscious of that at the time, and didn't realize that when you have two friends, you got to keep a certain distance from them as far as being romantic with either one of them, unless you're going to stick with one and that's it, and don't do anything with the other one in particular, and especially while you are dating one of them. While you're dating one of them, you don't do any kind of romantic things with the friend. And this is for men and women. You don't do anything romantically. You got to balance yourself with the type of things that you do with the friend. So female 2 and female 1, they were friends. So I started messing with female 2, and word got out somehow, some way, that I was messing with both of them. So them two, they got together, they spoke about it, and then it was one time I was by myself. And think about it, I'm like 15 at the time, like about 14, 15 at the time. And then I'm at my locker, and then both of them come to me at the same time with all this rowdy type of energy. And I turn around, and then they both yelling at me at the same time. And this is my first experience being yelled at, because that was my first experience. I guess it's kind of like cheating. And that was my first experience realizing that, oh, okay, so I gotta literally tell the other one that I'm done with her and I don't want to deal with her at all before I actually move forward with the other one. And I did not know that at the time. I just thought that you just ignore the other one, don't mess with the other one, and then you just go ahead and go with the other one. Now at 15, I did not know that, and I did not have a father figure in my life to teach me that. And my mother, she was all over the place as far as focus on work. And she really wasn't a mother's figure, an adequate one that was mature and actually spent one-on-one time with each of her children to actually teach them life lessons. And that's how it is with a lot of parents these days. As I say in my previous video titled False Parenting, that parents really do not understand parenting at all. And there's very few parents that actually made the time to understand parenting. And a lot of people, they have oops babies, where they have these unplanned babies, and some of them they plan, but they really don't understand the long-term planning that they need as far as understanding the mind first and foremost, getting themselves together psychologically before they actually have children. Psychologically, financially, and even physically, you have to have these three things, and spiritually too, four. So go back and check that out if you want more information about that. So I didn't have any guidance at that time, and that was my first experience of, I guess you can call it cheating, because I did not really convey it to the first one, female one, that I did not want to be with her anymore before I actually started dealing with the female too. So they confronted me, and that feeling right there was not a good feeling when you got two females confronting you and they are both angry at you at the age of 15, not being able to control yourself and control your behavior and your body. That was a scary moment at that time for me. So after analyzing that at some point afterward, I was like, oh, okay, so that's what I have to do. I have to talk to them one-on-one and tell them how I feel and what I want to do before I actually move to the second one. So after that, I had I understood what was going on. Like years later or sometime later, I understood what went on with my father and how he cheated on my mother. And at that time, and there was some other time later, I started to analyze cheating, because I started to see it over and over again with men here in America. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I started to sit down and really think about it. And the conclusion that I came to once I matured, I really realized that actually cheating is really stupid. It's a very immature thing as far as cheating on a person that you so-called care about and you love and you're in a committed relationship with. It really is a immature thing to do, rather than actually talking it out first before you go ahead and move on forward. Because if you have not developed the strength and the psychological knowledge to be able to sit down with the individual to talk out whatever issues you have, that is a failure on your part, and that is something that you have to resolve within yourself and develop within yourself, so that you can be able to sit down with the individual and talk your problems out. But as I say in one of my previous videos, I think it is the false parenting video, where I actually say that very few people have been taught from their childhood how to prevent and resolve conflicts. So a lot of people do not know how to sit with an individual or individuals and talk out their issues and come to a conclusion, rather than just sitting there discussing their issues and just saying, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not blah, 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 blah. A lot of people do not know how to get past that moment and come to a conclusion that is helpful for the situation, rather than just doing going the separation route. A lot of people think that the separation route is always the best route. No. Sometimes there are other routes depending on your own consciousness. And being a leader, and especially the man, you are supposed to be the leader within the relationship with a woman and knowing how to guide the relationship. But again, like I said, a lot of people never had strong, mature parents that can teach them life lessons, that have taught them life lessons. So that's where your personal development work comes into play, and your responsibility to do personal development work. A lot of people fail the personal development work, and they fail to have strong parenting. So if you don't have any kind of training, then why do you think that you're going to be successful within your relationships? If you think about it, if you had not have any kind of training, strong, mature training from your childhood or anywhere within your life, as far as life in general, but also in particular relationships, why do you think that you are going to be successful within your relationships with people in general? I asked myself that after a breakup years ago with a woman that I used to date and I really, really liked. And I sat down and I said to myself, after I got the telepathic message from probably one of my spiritual guides, they said, what makes you think that you are prepared for a relationship? And I sat down and thought about it. I was like, oh yeah, that's true. Because neither of my parents taught me relationships, and nobody talks about relationships and as far as teaching relationship lessons. So ever since then, I just went on my journey as far as understanding relationships. So now my comprehension of relationships is on a way above average than the average person, and that's why I'm sharing my information here. So to close out, cheating comes from a lack of understanding of relationships and a lack of understanding the mind and a lack of understanding self. Whenever a person is mentally weak, they usually will go the route of cheating rather than actually sitting down with their mate and explaining to them what relationship issues that they have within the relationship, and talking it out and coming to a positive conclusion rather than running out cheating. So the way that society has built the media, they built it to make people perceive that cheating actually is the easy route out. And literally some people actually believe that going out and cheating is the result, the best thing to do to then hopefully break off the relationship. That's one way, and there's a variety of other different beliefs that people have for the reasons why they cheat, and so many different reasons. But overall, it's a lack of personal development, lack of understanding the mind, a lack of understanding themselves, and a result of poor parenting. Remember, get the information about the person's childhood. I'm telling you, there's a lot of information you can learn from that, because the childhood experiences is the foundation for a person's mind. If a person has not developed their mind from that moment, from those childhood experiences, and they fail to resolve their unresolved childhood issues, they're more than likely going to have mental issues within their relationships with other people in general, especially their committed relationships. So you gotta pay attention to those people to see who has done the personal development work, who failed to do it. Most people fail to address their mental health. So that's why it's not worth being in a rush to be with just anybody. You got to really understand the mind and how it works, and understand who has addressed their mental health. First and foremost, you got to do that. So it's usually the ones with the weak minds that go off and cheat. So those are the top major things that I've concluded from my analysis of relationships and the mind, and my analysis of cheating You got the media influence, you have the childhood influence of the person's parents or lack of parents and whoever they were around most during their childhood. That experience creates a negative experience and negative beliefs within the child's mind as far as relationships, and the lack of positive relationship images is the cause of it. So when you have these images of cheating over and over again, if a person has not developed the strong mindset to be able to resist those negative influences, then they're more than likely going to definitely cheat. And if they don't address it within themselves and really see what's going on and also replace it with positive beliefs. And the other thing is the lack of understanding how cheating starts, because there's a lot of things that starts at work. It starts anywhere. Some people flirt with each other while they're in a relationship. They go ahead and flirt outside of the relationship. It's a lot of small things that turn into big things that lead into cheating too. That's another thing, the lack of understanding of how cheating starts. Once I understood that, I know now when I'm in a relationship with another woman that I absolutely, well, just in a committed relationship in general, I know now what to look for and what to avoid with other women, including being alone with them for long periods of time. I know how to avoid those things and I can perceive them ahead of time. So I can avoid cheating. And once I'm with one woman, that literally is all I need. So I developed myself to the point where it's unnecessary for me to cheat. And I know how to communicate with my woman if issues were to come up. And that's what people have to learn how to do. So those are the top things. You got to understand your mind, how it works. So study the mind, understand more about relationships. And you can do that by subscribing here to my YouTube channel. Yes, it's a plug to my YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. You hit the bell button so that you can get email updates whenever I update a new video. You can check that out. You can also go ahead and purchase my Committed Relationships ebook on my website at CommittedRelationships.info. That's a very quick read, and I wrote that a long time ago, and it was my very first book that I ever wrote, and I edited myself. So please excuse whatever you feel that doesn't make sense in the book as far as the sentences, the etiquette, the book etiquette. If you have any questions as far as the book, then you can go ahead and send me a email. If it leads to a point where you need a consultation, you can definitely contact me for a consultation, a relationship consultation, because you probably would learn a lot of information from that consultation. You can pick my brain of relationship information. So that's that. You got to understand that. And also you have to take time to understand how cheating starts, because it can start as a simple thing as a person sends a text to another person to so-called see how they're doing. But deep down inside, that individual is seeking something else that their relationship is lacking. And instead of mentioning that to their mate and actually figuring out how to resolve it so that their relationship can actually become stronger as they should, then they'll go ahead and flirt with somebody else, whether it be Facebook, it be a text message, it be that one individual at the gym, the one individual at work, that one individual at school. It's a lot of different things that goes on. So you have to understand that. All right, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and close that out right now. And hopefully you guys actually learned one or more things from this. And this was actually informative. If you feel that it is informative, then definitely click the like button for this video. Definitely do that. I will definitely appreciate this. And if you feel like anybody else could benefit from this video, definitely go ahead and share this link anywhere with other people. Thank you very much, and until next time.